Good afternoon, Chair Barker and members of the committee. I'm James Glass. I've been a bus driver for 17 years for TriMet. It's a wonderful job. I've been driving people all around, and some days I'm a tour guide and helping people all over the world explore the Portland region as well as Oregon. And a few times I've had the mayor and city council of Portland ride my bus and various people in that capacity. And some days I'm a social worker helping kids with familiar faces who are having a hard time with more than just a ride from point A to point B. I'm here today to ask you to support House Bill 2717. This is a simple bill to support both by my union, Amalgamated Transit Union 757 and TriMet. All this bill does is close a loophole in the Oregon law that says it is only a felony to assault a bus driver when they're in the act of operating the bus. The minute the driver, like myself, is not operating the bus, we are no longer in the felony to assault me, even when I'm in active duty. I know about the assault loop very well because I was assaulted April 4th last year. I'm still suffering from trauma in the remnants of this incident. It's affected me tremendously, physically, mentally, and socially. From the assault, especially from the person who attacked me, has not been caught and probably will never be. In fact, I recently signed to drive the same bus I was driving when assaulted when this happened. And I had anxiety attacks and realized that it's not the bus that did that, it's the person that did this assault to me and that very day. So I had to overcome that fear and anxiety. And it was very stressful for what happened last April. I was driving my Route 8 in Portland downtown in Line 8. I've driven it many times before. As I was pulling into the bus stop in downtown Portland and 5th and Pine, if you're familiar, I noticed a pedestrian rushing across the street illegally and unsafe. As most drivers do, as we are trained to do, I tapped my horn at him to let him know there's buses, and he quickly finished crossing the street behind the bus. I briefly lost sight of him. Because I had pulled into the bus stop, I opened the door, let my passengers on, and it was passengers off. And when I did this, this person that had recently tapped my horn at to let him know how unsafe it was, he rushed onto my bus and began spitting on me, screaming at me, and hitting me in my seat. As I covered my face and leaned up against the window and to protect myself, to get out of his way, but there really was no way to protect myself. When you're strapped in a seat, you only have one way to go, and that's to the left. And as I was cornered, I didn't know how long it lasted, and it sure felt like it lasted forever. Eventually, the person stopped hitting me and walked off the bus. I was still in a bit of shock and traumatized at that, but I wanted to know where this person had headed so I could be alert dispatching the police where his location was. So I got out of my seat to see the direction where the person had ran off. Unfortunately, he hadn't gone very far, and he turned around and came back at me. And I countered with him again with more aggressively than the first time. But a long story short, he left the scene. They still have not found him yet. And the reason I'm telling you today is because the minute I got out of the seat to look for this person who assaulted me, so I could inform dispatch and the police, it was no longer a felony for this person to attack me. I want you to understand how ridiculous this is and how it feels to be a bus driver. You're only protected by the law when you stay passive in your seat and you're a victim. And the minute we get up and defend ourselves to run or try to see where someone else has ran off to, the law provides less protection to us. I have other union brothers and sisters here today that would tell you lots of other stories similar to mine, because the truth is bus drivers are a target, and assaults are increasing, and most of our riders are wonderful people. And I wouldn't still be doing my job if it was not true. But when the so-called bad apples and populations show up, we are targets. Maybe they're frustrated with traffic, life in general, or whatever the case may be. But we are bus drivers, and we are the target of the bad behavior of these people. At least the state can do is say that we value our bus operators and recognize them as essential public servants. It should be a felony to target and assault a bus driver when they are behind the wheel or not, because of this unique position with the public. But I sincerely hope you will support House Bill 2717 to improve bus operators' protection. At least we deserve. Thank you for your time and your effort in this matter.
Okay.